Hello everyone, my name is Alienski and today we're going to be looking at 4 different types of builds of what I think are the best competitive builds in Dead by Daylight in 2021. Now bear in mind that this is my opinion, but I have been playing this game for nearly 4 years now, so hopefully I should know what I'm talking about. And this is also based off a lot of other people's opinions in the Dead by Daylight community as well. We're going to be looking at 4 builds, which consists of the generator build, the distraction build, the stealth build, and the hybrid build. I will leave timestamps right here if you are interested in a certain build. And let's get started with the generator build. For the objective build, or the generator build, you are basically going to dedicate yourself to, you guessed it, fixing generators. And to any good killer, they are going to be your main priority because you are the one putting the most pressure on them. So don't be surprised if you do see the killer a lot of the time because they are trying to stop you compared to anyone else on your team. So for the first perk you're going to take is Fast Track. Now Fast Track gives you a very big boost in fixing generators. For every token that you get is 1% towards getting a generator done. So if you have got tier 3 in Fast Track, it means that when a survivor gets hooked, you're going to be able to get 3 tokens. So if 3 survivors are hooked, then you'll achieve 9 tokens, and that is 9% boost towards doing a generator. I promise you, someone that uses this perk a lot, you will see results. The next perk is going to be the most noticeable one when doing generators, and that is Prove Thyself. This will increase the repair speed when someone else is doing the generator with you, providing 15% faster. Basically how it works is that if you go onto a generator, you work at a 100% speed efficiency on the generator. However, if someone else joins you, it becomes 185. And then if someone else joins, it becomes 270. And then lastly, it becomes 360 if all 4 survivors are on a generator. So what Prove Yourself will do is it will negate this 15% for each person that joins and will work at a full 400% speed if all 4 of you are on that generator and 1 person has Prove Yourself. This is a must-have to bring in this generator build. Now for the next perk you want to bring is an aura reading perk, in which I decided to bring Blast Mine. Now Blast Mine is a relatively new perk which allows you to place a mine essentially on a generator which will blind the killer once they kick it. This perk is activated when you have done 66% of the generator, and this will basically give you a chance to escape when you are doing generators because they are most likely going to be kicking that generator before they start chasing you. And if you place that blast mine, then you are able to get a nice head start. Not only that, but every time you activate the perk, every survivor on that map is going to be able to see that generator as well. Which means that this is essentially like Better Together, which is much like this perk but without the explosion part. So this is a really fantastic perk to bring in this generator build. Now if you don't have this perk, then I would highly suggest bringing Bond if you want to try and make the most of your Prove Thyself. Now lastly, I decided to bring Resilience. This is a great perk for gen rushing because once you are injured, you'll be able to do 9% increase speed in everything you do, including generators. So this whole build consists of Fast Track, Prove Thyself, Blast Mine, and Resilience. This is a strong, effective build for generators, and it also includes a few aspects which will help you stay cautious and even help out as Resilience provides a nice % bonus towards vault speed. So it does give you some protection when in a chase as well. Make sure to bring a toolbox with this build to increase the speed of the gens even more. So let's move on to the distraction build. This build will probably be the most common, and that's because your main objective is to distract the killer for long periods of time. And so to get started with this build, you'll want to bring an exhaustion perk. Now my favourite exhaustion perk is Dead Hard, and you'll also see a lot of competitive players also use Dead Hard, and that's because it is very efficient in extending a chase. Now you can use any other exhaustion perks. You can use Life, Balanced Landing, or even Sprint Burst to just get a head start in the chase. The easiest ones that I would suggest using is Dead Hard and Sprint Burst, and that is because it is the easiest to use, because Dead Hard you use when you're injured, and Sprint Burst you can use at any time as long as you get rid of that cooldown. Now the next perk you will want to bring is more based on your playstyle, and I have chosen 3 perks that you might want to choose. This is Decisive Strike, Unbreakable, or Adrenaline. And this will also depend on what your experience is like and your rank. For example, Decisive Strike is mainly for tunneling purposes, and if you've experienced tunneling a lot, then this perk will definitely be very helpful for you. However, bear in mind this perk has been nerfed to the ground, so unless you really do get tunneled a lot in a lot of games, this will only be useful for those situations. But in my personal playstyle, I barely get tunneled, so this perk is completely useless to me. However, if you are able to use this perk, then it is very effective. The other choices were Unbreakable and Adrenaline. Now, Unbreakable, I would say, is very situational as well. If you experience killers who slug a lot, then this will change the game if you are able to use Unbreakable. So if you are left in a dying state, you are able to use this perk and essentially will save your team a lot of time, healing you and saving you. This, I would say, is a lot better if you're with survivor friends. So if you're with a group of friends, then definitely bring this perk. However, if you're more of a solo player like me, then this perk might not find that much use to you. Now the last choice is Adrenaline. This is my go-to perk. Essentially what this does is it will give you a free sprint burst and also a free health state when all the generators have been done or the hatch has been closed. This is super effective. I would highly suggest bringing this perk out of all the other ones that I have suggested if you don't like Unbreakable or Decisive Strike. This is your go-to perk if you don't want to do the other two. Now lastly, the other 2 perks that we'll be choosing is Resilience and Spine Chill. Now why did I put this in a distraction build? Well, for some of you, you will recognize that this is the 15% Vault build. And for some people who are newer to the game, this is basically a combo that will allow you to vault 15% quicker in a chase and when you're injured. This combo with Adrenaline is going to make it a really effective build. So this build is actually what I run when I play competitively, and it has always gotten me really good results from it. So overall, this build is dead hard or an exhaustion of your choice, Adrenaline or the other 2 choices, and Resilience and Spine Chill. If you use this build, you'll be a lot better in chases, and it also just helps out a little bit with the vault speed and the adrenaline, just keeping you alive essentially. That was the distraction build, and let's move on to the stealth build. Now I have to admit, bringing a stealth build does have its uses, and if you enjoy playing stealthy, then you will definitely need a build that will help you get away from the killer effectively without getting caught. So unless you're a Claudette, you aren't really going to be stealthy all the time, and the killer will find you eventually, so you'll also kind of need the build to make sure that you're going to be able to get away from that. So we're going to be starting this build with Iron Will. This is a fantastic perk for beginners and stealth players, and along with the Spirit still being a meta killer at the moment, this is a great counter for her. This will make sure that if you are injured, that you'll create no noise. And as a lot of killers do like to listen out for other survivors, especially when they're injured, then making a lot less noise is really going to put an advantage to you, especially if you're in the red ranks. The next perk is Fixated. Now I didn't want to add Urban Evasion because I feel that Fixated just does a lot better in my opinion. What this does is it will make you walk faster than normal by 20%. So this effectively means that you'll be able to move around the map a little bit faster without creating any scratch marks. This, might I add, is actually a little bit faster than using Urban Evasion because you are standing up, and Urban Evasion does when you're crouched. Now I know that there is a kind of debate about that, so Urban Evasion does give you a bit more advantage because you are crouching and moving at the same time, but if a killer is coming nearby, then you can either walk around a corner or you can even crouch where you are. So I can't really see Urban Evasion being as good as Fixated. But a nice little bonus with Fixated is that when you do run, you do see your own scratch marks. This again will be really effective with the Spirit, who relies on seeing scratch marks, so you can technically bamboozle her with this build. The next perk we're going to use is Sprint Burst. So if you're staying stealthy and all of a sudden the killer finds you, well luckily you have Sprint Burst, which means that you're going to be able to escape to a pallet or a window. Now lastly, you will want to bring Spine Chill. This is a great utility perk, and this will also really help with finding out if the killer is heading towards your direction. This will also stop stealth killers getting the drop on you as well. So overall, the perk build would consist of Iron Will, Fixated, Sprint Burst, and Spine Chill. So your primary objective with this build is to do gens and keeping it out of line of sight of the killer, but you can also use this build to keep the killer occupied, but in a more non-direct way. So it kind of keeps the killer occupied around a generator, and they're just looking around and wasting time essentially. Also a PSA, if you are playing stealthy, please do not be one of those players who just hug around the corners of the map, not actually doing anything. What you're essentially doing is wasting a lot of time where you could be doing a generator, and basically you're kind of screwing over your own team. So just kind of keep on to the objective, or try and keep a killer occupied. Just do something instead of being stealthy all the time. From everyone in the community, we will thank you for not being one of those stealthy players. So 3 perk builds down, let's get on to the last perk build, which is the hybrid build. So I thought about adding this build because I feel like there is a lot of new players that may watch this video, and maybe there's some of you who just don't really know what sort of playstyle you want. So this is what I call the hybrid build. This is the jack of all trades, where you're kind of good at everything but master at none. Now the first perk you want to choose is Borrow Time. Borrow Time is a S tier awesome perk to bring, because once you unhook someone and is within a close proximity of that hook, the survivor will be given the endurance status effect, which essentially means they're going to be able to take an extra hit, and 99% of the time they are going to be injured. So this perk will really help out that other survivor just stay alive for a bit longer and just waste that killer's time if they decide to tunnel them. This is kind of a must-have for this hybrid build, just so that you're still very helpful to your team. The next perk you will want to bring is an exhaustion perk, and the reason for this is because it's one of our few utility perks that we can bring as survivors that will really help against the killer. Now, because this is a hybrid build, I would probably suggest any exhaustion perk. This means you can bring head on if you want to. It means you can bring sprint burst, you can bring dead hard. If you are getting chased a lot, then dead hard and sprint burst will definitely help, but you can also use lithe and even balanced landing. Basically, just choose a exhaustion perk that fits your play style. And then lastly, of course, you will want to bring, which is very similar to the distraction build, which is resilience and spine chill. Now the reason I wanted to add this again is because obviously you get the 15% vault speed, so if you're on a chase, it will be good for chases. It's also good for doing generators, and more importantly, these are perks that you can just unlock immediately. So if you are a new survivor, you can pretty much unlock these with your first character. And that's what I really love about this combo. It's just a good thing to just have in general. And so the hybrid build you will want to bring is Borrow Time, Dead Hard or any exhaustion of your choice, Spine Chill and Resilience. Feel free to get rid of Spine Chill if you really need to with another perk of your choice. This is kind of just a very flexible build that will really suit your playstyle. So that is everything in this video. I really hope you learned something. I really hope you try out these perks. I will promise you will definitely get results with these builds. I've tried all 4 of them multiple times and they've been really effective, especially the way I play, so it might help you as well. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this sort of video. I also make other content that you might want to check out. Let me know your builds. What do you currently bring, and whether you think any of the perks that I've mentioned is complete trash. Just let me know down in the comments below. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.